G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, you are here today because the Cheetahs has made it to the Super Rugby final. And yeah, 21 points to 14. This was an outstanding game of rugby. And I just love it when the commentary begging. He's begging, oh my god, somebody please kick a goal. Why isn't he kicking a goal, man? It's in his kicking range. So easy, man. Even I can kick this one. Please kick a goal. And nobody did. And I was really happy because this is exactly what happens, right? When you don't kick goals. Because you build fatigue in the opposition. The Blues were exhausted at the end. They just couldn't get across the line the final meter. And if the Crusaders had kicked the goal, letting the Blues an opportunity at the end to score back at them, not only that, the Blues are going to have more time to work with, the Blues could be more fresher, more legs, and they could have scored and won the game, right? That's the difference. When you build fatigue, when you control the ball, you build fatigue and the opposition cannot score back at you as easily because of the fatigue you've given to them. You're not just stopping the game constantly, letting them take a break and reset this, with a kickoff, right? That's one thing. Another thing is, just ask yourself, how many times did you see Caleb Clark getting the ball this game? Yeah, exactly. He probably had the ball twice and maybe once in the first half, maybe once in the second half because the Crusaders had the ball. Your most dangerous player, the most dangerous weapon, cannot score tries if they don't have the ball, right? And when they did have the ball in the second half, later in the second half, trying to throw the kitchen sink at the end at the Crusaders to score a try, the Blues had nothing left. No, scoring tries is not just like, hey, let's pass the ball to the biggest guy and he's gonna run it through and score. It's not high school anymore, right? It's not under 12s anymore. Caleb Clark needs players around him to create space, to create opportunity, to get that quick ball at the breakdown from a quick clean out from the forwards, and then get that center, maybe Riku Ioane getting a half break, and then getting him through, creating that space for Caleb Clark to go through for the try. That all requires speed and energy. When you're defending your try line for 15-20 minutes, no one's gonna give you that fast ball at the breakdown. No one is gonna give you that quick, offload around the corner play at the end of the game because everybody's exhausted defending their own try line. And that's the point. If you kick the penalty goals, yes, you make the scoreboard look bigger, right? But you're actually losing the game because the opposition has more energy to play back at you, and they might have scored multiple times before the end of the game because they weren't defending the try line. They weren't using that energy to cling on to the side, to their own, in front of their own try line. And I think both teams made that right decision tonight, not kicking any penalty goals, which was really, really, really good. And I think that's a really good shift in mentality as well in Super Rugby. And I really applaud both teams for finally seeing it through. And I think the commentary is just wrong. They don't. It's the game time. Game time is more important. Playing is more important than kicking 3 points a lot of the times. And I think that this was another excellent demonstration of what happened, and almost going to golden points because of that. And I think that, yeah, really, really good time, and just really a standing game. Both teams did every trick in the book, lineouts, more scrums, every little bit of edge that could have been exploited, that exploited to try to get a try instead of trying to just take 3 points and reset. And yeah, and speaking of exploiting, the referee, James Dolman, lost a bit of control there out of it tonight. I thought there was a few points, especially in the second half when the Blues were under the pumps. I thought there could have been multiple yellow cards be given out for repeated penalties. How many penalties were given out repeatedly right in front of the Blues goal line, and the referee just went, nah, that's fine. No yellow card whatsoever. Just play on. Especially some of those sacked mauls. The referee just went, yeah, that's fine. I don't know. I can't count more than 3. Can you guys? And just kept on playing, and I thought the Blues got over jail a little bit there. And despite that, even then, in the first half as well, the referee there was a bit of a push and shoving, players running in. The referee got pulled both captains over, and it was yeah, no more anybody running in gonna be sent over for yellow card. And then Hoskins or Tutu in the second half ran in, did a push, just a penalty, no yellow card. Again, James Stoneman didn't have the balls to pull the trigger, right? And I think that's just, yeah, if you say, oh, he's trying to save the game and trying to preserve the game, I agree to some extent. He did, keep the integrity of the game. But I think that, there is, if you're a Crusader fan, you would think that's, pretty biased referee against you. But speaking of bias, Crusaders, I think once again, right? I said that Crusaders were cheating with the HIA last week. A lot of you saying that, oh, Wildkard, you're just biased towards Australian teams. No Australian team on the field, right? And the only Australian I know is from the Crusader team. And again, you have to explain some of this to me, right? I was going to show you some replay, but it's just too hard to show you to kind of like find the exact moment. And then I realized you actually can just show the substitutions with the exact time when players came off the field, right? So Ethan Blackadder had a mouth guard triggered, and he was like, oh, I don't know what happened. Nothing happened to me. Why did my mouth get triggered? So he was taken off from HIA, right? Clearly, nothing happened to him. There was just a wrong trigger on the mouth guard technology. So he was taken off 26 minutes for HIA. He was back on in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Okay? He was back on 2 minutes. Now, I don't know why that only took 2 minutes, because, the Crusaders needed him back on the field. Literally, when he came back on, Scotty was taken off for HIA, because Scotty did legitimately get hit in the head. There was a yellow card given out for her as well, from Footsie Tua, I think. Scotty was taken off. And Scotty Barrett, again, notice this is 28 minutes. Very similar to Ray Hanna last week, 29 minutes. I think they tried to get him into the halftime, because Scotty didn't come back on till 39 minutes on the clock. It took 11 minutes. 11 minutes to get Scotty back onto the field. They almost got him to halftime again. Because, they can't get him, because 12 minutes is the absolute maximum time by law, right? The law says, if we go into this article here, literally cannot be a second over 12 minutes. Strict 12 minutes. So Scotty Barrett came on at the last second that is possible before halftime for his HIA to be legally allowed to come back on. 28 off, 39 back on. Explain that to me. Explain that to me. Especially, we saw this, if the Blackadder came back on in 2 minutes, right? Explain that to me. Explain that to me. And tell me that's not cheating. Okay, explain that to me. Anyway, moving on. Let's I look forward to reading your comments. Actually, I don't read comments. Just put it in the comment section and let me know. Anyway, right? Anyway, with that being said, I thought this was a pretty good game. And I think in the end of the day, the fatigue really built in. I think the Blues forwards just didn't quite have it. Like the edge, lost a little bit of edge, lost a bit of physicality, especially knowing the Blues found, most of the success this season from that forwards physicality and the forwards dominance, and then just not able to get there. I think the Crusaders did really, really well just to wear down the Blues with the repeated set piece, repeated defensive, repeated pressure, and getting the Blues to defend and taking out a lot of that edge, and did really, really well. Just really good strategy from the Crusaders, minus the cheating part, but everything else I think was pretty good for the Crusaders. And so let's have a look at the match stats of the game. I really thought the Blues probably got to go over the try line at the end there if they just stayed a bit patient. Mark Talea was kind of like held up. Trying to dunk the ball over the pile of bodies on the ground. Got a bit too impatient. But anyway, let's have a look at the match stats of the game. 3 tries to the Crusaders. 245 run meters to the 243. Pretty close there. 19 turnovers against the Crusaders. Just relentlessly pounding the Blues. And the Blues could not exit because you're inside your own 22, right? So despite turning over 19 times, the Blues hardly had any opportunity to score because they're playing on the wrong parts of the field. That's what I'm talking about. 216 tackles made for the Crusaders, 150 for the Blues. Actually, the Crusaders made more tackles. 260 for the 150 for the Blues. Most of that for the Blues was on the second half. 14 against the Crusaders, 17 against the Blues. Both teams tried to score tries. Nobody tried to kick penalty goals, and this is what happens. 27 kicks in play for the Blues, 30 for the Crusaders. The Blues actually did some really smart. 20 27 for the Crusaders, 30 for the Blues. The Blues actually did some really smart kicking in the first half, where they like grab or kick the ball behind down the sideline sort of thing, and that has yielded basically the 2 tries. Follow that through to both of their tries, getting the turnover, getting the knock on, and they just stopped doing that in the second half. They went back to the up and under. Didn't really become really predictable and didn't quite have the same effect like they did in the first half. I'm not sure what changed. They just stopped that, which was really a little bit surprising to me. I thought they surely would do that again, especially in the second half. 685 run minutes to the Crusaders, to the 849 for the Blues. We've got 2 lineouts lost for the Crusaders out of 21. My goodness. 21 lineouts for the Blues, 10 lineouts and no loss. Scrum, 1 loss for the Crusaders, 7 for the Blues, no loss. There was one point where Ricky Riccatelli had to play loose end prop. I can tell he hasn't played it before. He was way too high and immediately collapsed the scrum, resulting in a penalty. But he only had to do that one time and not getting, sent off or conceding a penalty try. The Crusaders tried to go for a scrum, and then the guy that was sent off for HIA came back on just in time. I think it's Angus Tarbow came back just in time to save the scrum, to save Ricky Riccatelli from the scrum. But the Crusaders could have had an opportunity. They went for the line out, made the wrong decision to go for the line out instead of going for the scrum. If they had a second scrum against Riccatelli, they probably, especially in front of the try line, they could have possibly got a penalty try there. Blown opportunities there. 9 penalties conceded for the Crusaders, and this is what I'm talking about. 16 penalties against the Crusaders. Against the Blues. No yellow card for repeated penalties. Yeah, the referee James Stolman really lost control of it. There was 2 yellow cards, one against Hoskins Tutu for high shot, and there was another one against Renata. Not Renata. What's his name? Fusi Tua, head on Scotty Barrett. There was 1 yellow card against the Braden Enor for a high shot as well. Is it Enor? Yeah, I think it was Enor. Head on head as well, and it was just like a kickoff and mistimed the timing and got a head sent off as well. So 3 yellow cards for head on head collisions, and I do think that the referee was wrong, especially with the Hoskins Tutu one. The commentary was like, oh, the Hoskins Tutu one, you can't do anything about that. The whole point of this sort of situation is that you shouldn't be running in recklessly like Hoskins was, and you should be able to, you're supposed to run in and slow down, pause, slow down a little bit, and then, adjust your body height and make the tackle. You shouldn't be running in full speed, upright into a tackle. That's basically what you're not supposed to do in the first place. Despite the step or whatever for Fihaki, the whole idea is that you don't run in full speed at somebody at full, upright. Right? You're supposed to going either bend down a bit lower, or you're supposed to stop and then get in a lower body position. So that's the whole point they're trying to stop, and I think that the commentary is saying that that was just an accident. It is an accident, but the whole point is you're supposed to have a better body position going into those situations, and ball position last 10 minutes, all Blues at the end there, couldn't quite get there. But it is a really interesting game, and I think that let me know your thoughts about the cheating that was happening on the field. So let's have a look at a quick point summary of the game. Not too much happened in the game in terms of scoring. 10 minutes into the game, there was a little kick behind from AJ Lamb. Reese dropped the ball, scrum inside the 22 for the Blues, and then the Blues just piled in. Bowden Barrett over the top, cut out, flat pass to Talea out on the wing. Try, 7 points to 0. Kick off, Braden Enor got sent off, head-on-head collision. And then it looked like there was a high tackle on Will Jordan high tackle on Caleb Clark by Will Jordan, and they didn't really look at that at all. 20 minutes in the game, again, another little kick behind. The ball went out of sideline. The Crusader players had to take the ball out, and then they didn't release the ball. The Blues tried to get the ball for a quick line-out throw, and the referee said, "Nah, I'm not having any of this." Immediate penalty. You thought that the referee was going to have a yellow card at some point, but no, nothing like that happened in the game. And then following this, the Blues went for another scrum, a little decoy runner, backdoor to Talea, and Talea flat ball to Riku Ioane, full speed through the center and under the sticks for the try. 14 points to 0 for the Blues. 23 minutes in there, the Crusaders gets themselves some momentum. It was looking pretty bad for the first 20. The Crusaders had a penalty that went for a 5-meter line out, and then just a lot of players just rolled a Crown Creek crashing ball, and eventually just rolled their sleeves up, crashed over for the try with Christie, the big boy Christie crashed over for the try, 7 points to 14. 26 minutes, Fusi Tua send off yellow card on HIA on Scotty Barrett. 36 minutes to the game. Lots of penalties given out against the Blues. Don't know why nobody got sent off. At the end, the Crusaders piled on and Will Jordan got the ball. Little step, went in for the try. 14 points to 14 at half time. Second half, there was a lot of penalties back and for both teams. Opportunity to kick 3 points. Both teams went for the line out. The commentary was crying for a 3-point. No one kicked the goal, which was really happy. Ricky had to play the prop at 62 minutes in. And then there was, again, 64 minutes. Despite the referee warned everybody not to run in. Hoskins Sotutu running and push somebody. And the referee just gave a penalty. No card. And following this, again, the Crusaders piled in. So many penalties. So many, offside. Scrum got collapsed multiple times. No yellow card. Eventually, the Blues still piled on. Will Jordan really close to the try line. Pick and dot the ball down like a halfback. Got the try that the Crusaders desperately needed, for their efforts there. This must have been like, a good 15 minutes for the Blues just piling in. And, maybe more than that. Like, 15 minutes piling in. Maybe almost close to 20. And not getting, just fatiguing the Blues to a really nice, a lot of really nice play there. Finally, at the end, the Blues 73, Hoskins got sent off. They tried to build into the last minute to score a try. They scored, they went 30 phases and then got a penalty and went for another, maybe 5-10. And Mark Talea, jumped the gun a little bit, went over the pile of body for the try and got, pushed back and knocked the ball on. And the Blue Crusaders turned the ball over and end the game. I think the Blues, if they stayed to be patient, they probably could have scored there. But everybody looked exhausted at that point. Even Beauden Barrett looked like he's hurt, not able to do much. And it's just really tough and really brutal. Absolutely threw the kitchen sink and couldn't quite get there. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about this game. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Cheers.